All right, all right, all right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Today we have this Lamartz Brown came back to visit us today, and he has his new release up here. And guys, if you were with us last time when he's back here, you know that he had another thought-provoking book that time, and this one is more of the same. So I can't wait to get into it. Lamars, thank you so much for coming back and spending time with us after writing such a wonderful book. So welcome to the book bar.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be here again. Every time we get together, and we only have one interview, but listen, the way the interviews go and how thought provoking they are, and how deep you dig into characters, I was excited about this interview.
Right, right. Well, thank you for coming back. I just want to give the audience a little some few words about you. So y'all come on in here. Hey, Miss Shay Baby. That's my slick partner, Shay Baby. Wait, guys,
Oh yeah, I know Shay. I love me some
we
Shay.
be chatting it up. But anyway, Lamartz Brown is a rising voice in contemporary urban literature. He comes from over there in the East Coast there from Paterson, New Jersey. He also is a poetic storyteller. And I think if once you read his books too, you'll see that he not only tells a story of deeply flawed characters, but also tell it in a poetic way. He is also the author of Built on Broken Pieces, Blank Canvas of You, Back Down Memory Lane, one of my favorites. And he crafts stories that dive deep into love, trauma, resilience, and real life struggles we don't always talk about. His work blends into raw emotion with purpose. And today we're getting into the man behind the message. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay.
Hey, let's go.
All right, all right. So, I don't even know where to start. It's just so much that was going on here. But let me start here. The title of the book, Damage by Necessity. Tell us a little bit about that and how you came up with that title.
So usually when I get a new book concept, in my head, I always toss around titles, me and my wife. Like me and my wife, like we're a good tag team, shout out to my beautiful wife, Kanisha. And we were sitting around, throwing around titles. And let me tell you, she was like, throwing around titles, and I'm like, no, not that one. No, I don't like that. Right. So then she was like, Damage by Necessity. I literally jumped up and I was like, that's it. That's it. Because it just spoke to how I envisioned the characters. So that's how the title came up. It wasn't something that I thought. It was me tossing it around titles with me and my wife.
Okay. So would you say the title or the story which one came first then?
The story.
The story, okay.
For sure. So how it happened was after Blank Canvas of You, I was like, I want to write about a Shy and Gina. Like they spoke to me when I was writing Blank Canvas of You. And I was like, I got to get them their own book. And literally right after I finished writing, I got the outline, and then I had to let it marinate a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I wanted more for the story. I had the outline, I had the idea, but I wanted the characters to live with me for a while. So I put that to the side, and then I jumped into Back Down Memory Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And after Back Down Memory Lane was written, then a Shy and Gina story started to really take shape. So I'm glad I waited.
Oh, wow. This one here, like I tell you, wow. It's so much going on in the book. This was a well-written book, though. And you had, to me, as a reader, and you tell me if I'm off base, but I detected suspense plots, love, love. And this almost could have been, because we've been talking about, if you ever catch our show, Shay Baby and I have a show, it airs every Saturday morning at 10 Eastern time. and we one of the questions was what is considered romance, right? So we often, kind of toy with that, and sometimes people interchange it. There's a romance and then there's a love story. Now you put the subtitle as Stone Cold Love Story, but technically you did have kind of like an acceptable ending, so it could have been either one. But I love it as a love story, just so you know. But the story, and I mean, so you had love, romance in there. You had childhood traumas, cocooning, childhood traumas cocooning into adulthood, growing that way. I mean, this was almost like you took these characters through a therapy session, basically.
Yes.
So when that happens like that, I have to ask the author, like, when you're writing that, does that drain you?
It really does drain me, to be honest. But at the time when I was writing Damaged by Necessity, I was going through a lot. I mean, life was really knocking me down from all aspects, from job, from marriage, from parenthood. Like, I mean, I was going through when I wrote Damaged by Necessity. So although it drained me, it allowed me to get all of that off me so that I can heal from those things. You get what I'm saying? That I was carrying. It was my way of pouring out. Like, I poured out so much. For you to say that it was kind of like a therapy session, to me it was, because it was needed not only for the characters, but it was needed for me too. So that's why I come off like that.
Yeah, well, you did a great job, but then also too, like I said, there were so many different, I call them like plot twists in here that, you did a really good job in, bringing the reader through the stories, because, like, in the beginning, you don't know what you're getting with the characters, and then just Gina and let me not chop up his name, because
I got you.
I was calling him a shy.
That's his name.
All right.
A shy. Yeah.
Okay. So Gina and a shy were, throughout the entire book, they were always in each other's circle, right? So, but they had different journeys, but they were parallel at the same time. Yes. So they kind of went through the journey, down in each other's circles, but they were dealing with separate things, but they kind of complemented each other, right? And so, we talk about, like, could we say this was friends to lovers kind of thing? We could say that, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it was more for them. It was more of, what do we want to call it? It was more of it was not one of the, it was like a on time. It was a on time rather than distance. So they was in each other's circles, but it was never the right time for them to be together.
Yep. Right. Because when you look at it, you have two characters that, both had a lot going on in life. And a lot of times when you have so much going on in life, you don't have time for a relationship. So, we all been there.
Yeah. And then plus he had other stuff going on that was unsafe. He felt like it was unsafe for her to be in this circle. But let me tell you, I loved me some Gina. Because let me tell you, this girl, she would do her some humbugging, and I loved it. But then some people would say she was too much. But I think, and even I said that in the beginning. But when we get fast forward to the end, and when she really tells her story and tell people about it, like, she was right on point. Like, you know what I mean? And I think, if people read this story, especially as far as women is concerned, I think they would see where she was coming from. I think people could resonate with what Gina was going through, and how she was determined not to let people take advantage of her, and she would speak her truth, right? So I loved her for that. I got a kick out of her, and it was funny parts in there about Gina, just it was just funny parts about Gina. And then we got a little bit of Mega and Mona, too. So, you got two different stories going on, right?
Yep.
Now I'm going to say this, and yes, I'm a greedy reader, and you probably, I don't know if anybody else has told you this, but I'm going to need to see what's happening with Legend.
You are like, everybody keeps saying that. Oh my God, everybody keeps saying that. Okay. All right. Because when I think about it, Legend is somebody that I met off the whim just writing him, right? But as the story unfolded, he became this mysterious character. And I really started to think about his life. Like, I really started to think about his life. Like, where did he come from? Why is he
right?
like this? How did he get all of this information? And I worked it out in my head. So I could definitely give him the story. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of left us with the fact that, like you said, he knew more than we thought he did. He wasn't just one of those secondary characters that just popped in and popped out. And coming from a dog lover, like, listen, when I heard roof,
yeah.
I stood up and paid attention. I sat up and paid attention because I was like, what they doing? What they gonna do, right? And okay, so the dogs, right? So there's multiple species of dogs, but how did you pick the dog that would be that he could have by his side?
So I did a lot of research. Like, I wanted to really have a dog that is a protector, follow cues really well, and understand humans a lot. So I came on the King Corsos, and they are literally, my friend texted me one day. She was like, you got Legend in them damn King Corsos out in my backyard. And she sent me a picture. It was literally a guy out in her backyard with two King Corsos. I was like, oh, wow. So it's something.
Those dogs are fiercely loyal. They are very intelligent. And they were just perfect for the scene.
Yeah, I loved it. And I pictured it so well. Like, when they were chasing him on the construction site, oh man, my heart was beating. So yeah.
Yeah. I need to take a moment just to say hi to some people here. Hello, Ola. Welcome. Lachey, hi. Thank you for joining us. LaShawn, hi, dear. How are you? And then Cheryl Brooks. Hey, Cheryl. Let's see. Cheryl, let me see. Lachey says, and okay, yep. She's supposed to be talking about the book. That's okay. So she must be talking about the book event. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Tiffany, how's it going? Renata, thanks for joining us. Okay. Oh, listen, Lachey, if you have not read them, and these books can be read standalone, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Grab that. I'm sure that could be arranged.
Yeah,
hello,
Alexa at this point.
Yep. All right, let's see. All right. And we're proud of him too. So thank you all for joining us. And if you haven't already, make sure you tell a friend that we are on over there. I got the back door open for y'all, so just come on in. Make sure you subscribe so you'll see the next time that we come on for a live show. And so let's continue on with here. We're discussing Damage by Necessity by Lamartz Brown. Okay, so the two characters, like I said earlier, they were actually having the same journey, but just different circumstances, right? Yeah. So Gina was making a name for herself. She was this, what we'll call her influencer. Had her own platform where she was helping women, and she was truly in her mind, and what she was doing was truly helping people. But she was also helping herself along the way, right? So she was sharing her truth with other people. Now, Ashai was more or less redefining himself, right?
Yes.
He's one of those guys that truly grew up without knowing who he was.
Yep.
And we find out that what he thought was his truth was really not his truth. So, and then so they're going through these different things, but then they're also like in the same circles and everything. And then the other thing was amazing about that too is Mega, and how Mega was there to basically, I don't know, like keep him grounded.
Yep.
And so what was the dynamic between those two characters, and how did you feel like, I mean, you just did an amazing job with this book, but how did those two dynamics come about?
I got you. So when I think of Mega and I think of a Shy, I think of me and my best friend, who is my brother. His name is Juan, and we've been best friends since 5th grade, right?
Okay.
And let me tell you, the way how my brother shows up for me each and every time I need him, that is what I wanted to portray in Mega and a Shy. It was very important to show the world that you have two men that can come together from, two different lifestyles, and their lifestyles end up, really coming together because they kind of have the same story and hold each other down. Let me tell you something. I could call my friend right now. Now, I live in Delaware. He live in New Jersey. If I need him to come to Delaware right now for something, he'll jump on the road and he'll get to me. Not only that, when we talk, it's always, uplifting. It's always positive. Like, yo, keep doing your thing. You are great at what you do. When I'm down, of course, he, be calling me all types of names, but he, pushes me to be the best person that I can be. So I had to show that. And a lot of times we, hear these horror stories about, friends and them being backstab and talk. I wanted to show something different because it is some good people out in the world that should have sort of been family, because that's my family. Nobody can, tell me it ain't.
Well, we say all the time, like, in this day and age, family DNA doesn't define family, right? So
Exactly.
Family is just like who you said, who's holding you down, who is in your circle. And I think you talk about that a little bit. The characters mentioned that a little bit when they said sharing it's not feeling what the word I want to look for. It's not feeling like you are, when you're sharing it with somebody that is truly in your circle. It's not like you being, it's just a safe space is what I really want to say. You're a safe space.
Really
that's for you and your brother, right? But I also too like the fact that, and that's another thing that you mentioned. I like the fact that, you got these two brothers, who came from nothing, but they're not letting their past define them.
Right.
And they're not like crabs in the barrel kind of thing, right?
Right. It took a minute for a Shy to catch up, though.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like, in writing a Shy, he was so, in the beginning, it's just like, what can I write about him? He doesn't like anything. He doesn't like going out. He like making money. Who doesn't like making money? He like women, of course, but it has to be more. It has to be more. So it's like it kind of had to hit him, but it was Mega who had to throw him in the ring. Like, yo, wake up. It's time to do the thing that you thought wasn't never gonna be able to be done. So yeah, it took him a while to kind of like really understand it. He saw it in Mega. He saw it working out with Mega, but then he thought it wasn't for him because it never was something that, he kind of thought of, because he had a one-track mind. Make money. He was the enforcer. Kill when, need be. And then, that's it. But life has a way of slowing you down, letting you know that that's not the life that was meant for you. And I wanted to show that.
Yeah. Well, you did a good job with that too. And then Mega was one of those, and I think it was Mega older than Ashai?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Only by a
so
year though.
okay. But then, they came from the same, upbringing and past or whatever. So I think Ashai always looked up to Mega.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think in his mind, and he felt like, from what he had gone through, he felt like he wasn't good enough to have anything good, right?
Yep.
So even though he saw an example of Mega, I mean, truly doing a 180, right?
Yep.
And it was working out for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was the family man, he had the wife, he was coming home every day. For goodness sake, he had based on what they did in their childhood and him just having a barbershop. I mean, even though it was his own business,
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty sure he was looking at that like, can I do this?
Exactly.
Because he was so hyper, though. He was very, very hyper, like I said. And then as the book start off, he even says like, he could kill that. He knew how to do that. If he
Yep.
didn't know how to do anything else, he could kill. He could be an enforcer, but he was trying to do this real estate stuff, and he was trying to do it, legally, and he wasn't even sure he could do that.
Nope.
Because brainwashed.
Yeah, and I was about to say, when you allow things that people say to take root and grow inside of you, you become a shell of yourself, or not a person that you should be. And because Ruby for so long told him he stay quiet, the only thing he do is kill and take orders, that's what he thought. Because she took him in and gave him the things that he thought he was gonna never have, because his mom leaving him, and him not having that type of love. She gave him that love, although it was a motive behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So it took root in him, but Mega pulled those roots up and made him plant again.
Yeah, because I think it was Mega who actually encouraged him to move away from Ruby, because I think he would have stayed with Ruby because that was all he knew, and to him that was his safe space.
Yep.
But and then Ruby, you didn't talk too much about it, and that was okay with me. But I was just like, when Legend had mentioned something about like years later, they went to search for him and they saw he was with Ruby. And so they felt like Ruby could give him more than they could at the time. I thought, look, all of these characters are broken. They just broke it.
So when you look at Ruby, a lot of that story is in Blank Canvas of You, about Ruby and how she took them in as kids, because it was for them. It was Mega was the leader, it was Ashai the enforcer, then you had Tone, and then you had Star, who was kind of like, not to say flunkies, but they were the ones that was just in the crew to do the little things around. But yeah, Ruby, she was she was one of those ones. But he had to see it different, and I'm glad I'm glad Mega took him with him and his girlfriend Maya when he moved out, because if not, it would have went a different way.
Yeah. And so again, like, I'm just, guys, I don't want to tell any secrets of the book. I want you to read it, because I feel like this book, you have to experience it for yourself, because I think it's one of those books where different readers are going to get some different things out of it. But you have poured so much into this book, where it is just like, okay, if somebody doesn't want romance, okay, that's fine. If somebody doesn't want this, that's fine. We got this, and then you even go into the things that you talk about, like, broken, childhood traumas, and how that equals an adult. You got PTSD from like the service, and that was really so sad for me to read about that, because Yeah, that was really, really sad. And then for most men, they they know something is wrong, but they will refuse to get help. And I don't know if
Especially
and
that generation.
yeah,
Especially that
yeah,
generation. And not to cut you
yeah.
off, but yeah.
No, you good. No, but no, go ahead.
Oh
Cause,
yeah.
cause
So when I look at the general, I mean, it tugged on my heart because you leave one way and you come back totally somebody different. And the crazy part is I just was talking to my wife's father's best friend, which is basically her uncle, and he was just telling me about a lot of the things that transpired over I think he said he was in Kuwait,
Mhm.
and I was like, wow, I should have talked to you because I do a lot of research. I'm a research
Mhm.
person because
Yeah, it
anything I put in my
shows.
books, if you research it, it's real. But I was like, I really should have spoke to you about the general. I said because it really pulled on my heart the PTSD that he had, and because he was from that era that doesn't go to therapy, he is from that era where you cannot show vulnerability. He was from that area where you drink it down, you beat it down, you do something with it other than what is supposed to be done. That was important for me to show because a lot of times that is passed down from that generation to us, and we try to figure out why we got so much freaking trauma as it is.
Well, not only that, even from that era too, when soldiers were coming home, they didn't have a safe place for them to come. They didn't have help
Exactly.
for them. So, and again, the cultural things that they had to contend with too. And I kind of got that he went over there as a consultant, so to speak, but I kind of also feel like he was forced out. So there had to have
Yes.
been something that was going on because he was forced out, and of course they didn't tell his wife or anything,
Right.
so they just kind of really unleashed him without any help, and they had to know that something was going to be seriously wrong.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
he didn't waste no time showing it either.
Oh
Like,
man, that car scene riding back from when they
uh
picked him up. Whew, yeah, I
yeah.
had to sit with that because I don't play that. Man, when I say I don't play that, I had
Yeah.
to sit with that after, and it really tugged on me because it's people that go through that in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, and then yeah, and so the scene from when they go to pick him up, they're both so excited.
Yep.
Gina is like, she is the perfect little daddy's girl, right? She
Yep.
cannot wait. He's coming home. You think he's gonna like this picture and everything, and then to come and then just be brutally just shocked
Yeah.
into who is this monster? This is not my dad, right?
Yep.
And then the mother, I felt for her too, but I kind of at first
Ooh.
I was just like, this is crazy, but you know, whatever happened with her, she
Yeah.
felt like that strong commitment to him, like I'm not gonna walk away from him because in your marriage vows it says in sickness and in health, to death do apart. And baby, that lot them lines, she played it all
Ooh.
out, right? She played it
Hmm.
all out. But the scene when they came in shooting the
The show.
show, I did not. That one caught me off guard. Like I didn't know where you was going with that. Now I mean, kind of knew when she was going up the stairs, kind of like, okay, he's gonna do this, maybe, but mm-mm. I was just like, why? Just why?
Mm. So that scene right there, I had to take a good month off.
I know.
I really had to take a month off because that was the end of Act One anyway. So it was kind of a chance for me to have a breather. But the way Act One ends, yeah, it was heavy. It was heavy. Midnight. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It was needed. Um, because of where she needed to go, but it also shined a light on just how trauma can infect you for your whole life. And if you don't take care of it, it's going to turn into an infection that you're not going to be able to get rid of.
Right. You know, if this was real life, and I'm sure the situation, some similar to that is out there.
Yes.
I feel like, when you talk about, you can't blame, I couldn't blame either one, the dad or the mom, because they were just a victim of their circumstances, right?
Yep.
Because she wasn't strong enough to get him to get help. She was committed to being by his side, so she wasn't going to leave them. And then I think about the mother was a writer, I think, prior to. So like you feel like she's this creative brain, and just to be basically suffocated.
Yes.
Like your life's dreams is just sucked right out of you into a zombie, because basically they both were zombies.
Yes.
After a while, the mom and the dad was just zombies. And it's just sad, because that happens, right?
Yes,
they sat in the house and they basically rotted away.
Yep. That's what they did. They hid from the world. One, he hid because he knew what he was going through and what he was doing. But she hid because she didn't know herself without him. Therefore she followed his lead to really kind of like feel like herself. And it's just like, no, you have this talent of being an amazing writer, and you just let all of that go to waste because he saved you. You don't owe him your life. Now you owe him in a sense of not even let me not say that. You can thank him, but owing him is a little bit extreme. And bow down and kiss the ring, not me.
That too. That was one of the things I didn't like about that. But like I was sympathetic to the situation. Like the mom, that was just a really bad situation. And then that's why in the beginning when I said all of the stuff that you have in this book was just if to go through it personally, or you would be an emotional wreck.
Yes,
right. So writing it, and then you're saying that this was you releasing some stuff too. So I can only imagine. I feel like I got to give you a hug, because your goodness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was tough for me. Like I isolated myself. Like it was bad, man. Like I didn't even think I was gonna be able to write it because so much was on me. But it was therapy. It was therapy.
So let me ask you this. So once you got done with the book and the book was finished, right? Mm-hmm. And you felt good about the book, what did you do to celebrate?
You know what? I still haven't celebrated. I actually wrote something on Facebook today. It is hard for me to celebrate my wins. And it's something that I'm actually going through in therapy with my therapist, myself. But it's just hard for me. And honestly, I jumped into another book because, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So I really didn't have time to like really celebrate, and plus I just had the baby. So it was all, a lot at once. Oh, no, not we just had the baby. We just found out we were having the baby. So it was a lot. It was a lot. I couldn't, but where I celebrate at events, like at Chocolate City Lit Fest in Washington, D.C. this weekend. I celebrated with readers. I danced, I hugged people. People stopped and told me how much they loved Back Down Memory Lane and Blank Canvas of You. To me, that celebration, that makes me believe in my pen and keep going. So I guess that's sort of it. But yeah, I need to do something for myself. I agree.
Yeah, you do need to do something for yourself. Now, okay, so how important was it for you when you wrote these characters? Because again, we talked about all of the different plot twists that you had, going on here. This was a stew of a story, right? Because you had a lot of ingredients in here. But how important was it for you to walk these characters down their journey and not give them a fast fix? You know what I'm saying? We knew they were flawed at the beginning, but you didn't just come up with a solution like midway through. You really, really walked them through a journey. So how important was that? And how did you do that?
Right. So it was very important to me. And I'm gonna start with how I did it first. So I had to break it up into 3 acts, right?
Okay.
The book is broken up into 3 acts. You have Act One, which is the metaphysical necessity. So, and I'm reading because I want to get it right. It says a journey to understand the forces shaping one's life and the internal conflict between destiny and free will is about questioning who you are and why you are the way you are. That's Act One. That's Act One, right? And then you get into Act Two, which is the natural necessity, right? And that means, or this is the period of their life where survival amongst life hardest realities. It's about resilience, accepting what life demands, and pushing forward despite the obstacles. So that's your Act Two. And then you get into Act Three, which is your normative necessity. And that is defying the odds to live a life of purpose, overcoming societal expectations and personal limitations. It is about creating your own path and finding meaning in a world that often tries to define you.
And that we saw all of that.
Yes, and that's how I did it. I broke it up into 3 different acts because I had to show the growth from when they started until when we got to see the end of the book. And I'm the type of person, so my 2 favorite authors, I tell people this all the time, is Takara Allen and Tracy Brown. And the way how they layer their stories is out of this world. So me as a writer, I inspire to layer stories just like that. And Damaged by Necessity was my way to do that. And that's how I kind of like brought it all together.
Yeah. So I'm with Shay right now because when you were reading, you was like, "Hey, look, hallelujah!" Let the church say amen.
For real.
But no, for real though, I that's why I asked the question because I highlighted each one of those as I was going through the different acts. And I love that you put that there too, because you kind of don't know what you're getting, but once you get it, you understand what you were trying to do in the different acts there. We just want to take a moment to say hello there, King. Thank you for joining us. Hello there, Sherelle. Hey. You might want to check out Sherelle too. She has a bookstore in Humble, Texas. So check her out, like reach out to her there too, because
definitely.
Well, I think he has it's a great story. Also too, be looking out for us to reach out to you, because I think you will also be a great guest for what we call the author hot seat on the Love, Lies, and Bestsellers show that airs on Saturday. So we're going to reach out to you for that. So we think you'll be a great person for that. So
I would love to.
Yeah, so we're gonna reach out to you, get you on there. So Shay said yes, right? Because the way he said that, like, you know what, you better hear me when I say this.
It was important. And the crazy part is every time I read it back, I say I'm gonna memorize it, but every time I read it back, I was like, I was really speaking to myself.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was really, that was it. That it hit me first before it got to y'all. So yeah.
Now, they say like it's kind of like beautifully broken. and to me, when you first read that, it's like it's oxymoron, because how can something broken be beautiful, right? But I feel like these characters and their journey, they were both beautifully broken. So they started off being broken, but then as they journey through and they go through all of the necessary steps to become whole, they are just truly beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Imperfectly perfect, if you will.
Yes.
And you seem to do that a lot with your characters, with their situations. So I do like that, because I love a good story where it's almost like a redemption story. So,
Yes.
they got their stuff, they're going through their stuff, but then you show the works of what they're doing. So if somebody was to read that, and you might find them in a certain area, going through the same thing these characters are going through, you can see that it's realistically what they're going through and how they are helping themselves. They're not running away from their problems. They have people in their lives that are telling them, hey, this is not right. You're going to self-destruct. You need to do this. And so I think this story, if somebody reads this, I think it could be like a helpmate for someone too. So.
And the crazy part, you say that, and we were saying hallelujah and stuff. I was a minister, so I feel like sometimes, I minister through my words, because I want to see our people healed. I want to see our people do better, and especially when it comes to relationships, and not just girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. Like, I'm talking friendships too. Like, we need each other to survive. I'm sorry. Like, no person can do it by themselves. We need somebody to survive. Okay.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because we say all the time, even, say we look, we nothing without God. So, I know for a fact that if you leave me to my own devices, I am going to certainly mess up some stuff. I'm going to wreck it up.
Say that.
So I see. Yeah. And oh my gosh, Cheryl, I don't know if you've read the book or not, but you're going to absolutely love this story, because I know this is your thing right here, and he got plenty of it in there. Right. So you're going to love it. So, and I also want to talk about the mom. Her name just escaped me. It always escapes me before, but I say something before it. So his mom, that really wasn't the mom. Was she in the previous books too?
No,
because I don't remember. Okay, I didn't remember her. That was something that kind of wasn't like a major thing, but it was a major thing, because I couldn't understand why you basically send somebody to almost kill him just so you can come and tell him that one thing. Like, what was the whole purpose in that? Or was that just, I don't know what that was all about.
So I wanted, how can I put it? So when it comes to the mom situation, I wanted it to be like, what? Because we thinking it's one thing. And then when it comes out, it's just like, all right, like, but it brings it to when he meets at the end, it makes it more like you get it more when he finally meets the person that gave him up.
Right. Yeah, I now don't get me wrong. I love that we got legend out of that, but I just didn't understand the whole thing. And I mean, like, and like I said, I don't want to go into too much, because I'll be flipping out and I'll be telling all the goods, but that was complicated too, because I just didn't understand why. And then I didn't understand his relationship with her too. Like how he was out here like this, man. I loved Legend. Like, I mean, he was only in those scenes. I loved him. I loved the dogs. I mean, all of the characters that you had, you gave them such a strong heartbeat I'm telling you, readers, when they read this, they will not be easily forgotten. These characters will not be easily forgotten. You know, and I know the dogs is not going to be easily forgotten. Well, not for me, right? So, but not every time I see one, I'm going to always think of that. But I just didn't understand why she was. I just didn't understand her purpose with that.
I wanted to go into more detail. So I get into these moments in books because I did it in Back Down Memory Lane too with Mackay and his story and his mom. So I really wanted to tell it, but I just didn't have enough time. Same thing with Damage by Necessity. So in my mind, the legend is kind of like a contract killer that was in this group of contract killers, and his dad, a shy dad, was in it with him, right?
Okay.
And when he got killed, then the friend kind of like came in to kind of like save the mom, or not his real mom. Mm-hmm. So it's complicated. So if I ever get to tell Legend story, you'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah,
I couldn't give him the spotlight that I needed to.
Right, but you did give him enough of a spotlight that he will not be forgotten. And then I'm pretty sure people are going to be asking you. I know I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah. But yeah, so I absolutely love that too. And then you brought, there was Dawkins was a character too. Like,
oh my God. Man, that man. Oh man. Like, why you show up to the house playing the video? Come on.
Right. Well, first of all, why you even take the video? You know what I'm saying?
What you doing? Yeah. Like, yeah, he was weird.
He was, but I expected for him to, I don't know. I expected for him to do something with that video. I kept, being anxious. Right. Oh, okay. Well, he got his own video. He ended up landing his own video. And I thought, wait, listen, let me tell you. So that scene, yes. Okay, so you know how when you are watching a movie and you know something is about to happen, but you don't know what. And then, so this is me. I'm like all up in the book reading, like, okay, like how's she supposed to set him up and what is she supposed to be doing? And then, when they was talking about what he was saying to her being rough or whatever, I was like, okay, I don't understand what's going on. I need a visual, you know what I mean? And I hope that doesn't seem weird, but like, I just wanted to know what was going on with that, right? And I wanted to see their screen, basically, while this was going on. And then when he like fell over, I felt like, okay, what happened? Like, okay, somebody better tell me something. When they said what they said, I'm like, oh, this man is way weird. Yes. This man is way weird. And he was a cop.
Yes.
So that was like, dangerous.
How you a cop doing all of that junk? Like,
oh my God.
And that's a abuse of power too, because you can't be just walking up on people. Even though I can say Ashai and Gina shouldn't have been
that hard.
But he just caught him at a vulnerable time, and it just kind of like went from there.
Well, and then basically, like, I can see why he was on the scene there, and he should have taken them in. He should have arrested them because what had happened prior to, but he didn't. He just took the video and then showed it to him to let them know that they got it. He went on about his business. So
that's weird behavior.
Yeah, very, very weird. But okay, so you're finished with the book. And here, let me just tell you, I haven't written I haven't posted my review. I did actually finish writing it, but let me tell you, for me, that what stands out with this, how you are emotionally honest, the characters, that you write, emotionally honest. And then I really, really appreciated that you didn't rush the fix, because the way you wrote it, it felt authentic, because nobody with that much baggage goes from chapter 1 to spilling it all out to chapter 5. Now they perfect, right? So and even in the end, they weren't perfect, but they were getting there, right? So I appreciated that, so that's one of the things I had kind of wrote in my review. Like I said, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get everything out because, you talk about that, we did get pretty much everything in there. Now, I ask you this question here. So, you know how Shy was with Gina, like, when they were like in a car or when they were just together, a lot of times she would talk and he would listen. So he was kind of silent, and sometimes that felt like intimacy. And then there was sometimes like toward the end where he was in his own head, where he was silent. And then it felt like it was kind of like disconnecting. So did you do that by design, or is that just kind of something that happened with his character?
It's just something that happened with his character. I think in the Shy being silent in a lot of those interactions is that's what he was taught to be.
Okay.
Always. You get what I'm saying? Ruby said,
Yeah.
be silent because you are the silent killer. Always, right? So when you get in a relationship and the silent killer is that love, that's bubbling up inside, and it's just
Yeah.
it just happened like that because that's how he was built. That's how he was manufactured. I think of when we talk about the potter's wheel, in the Bible and how God made us, like that's what Ruby was doing to him because he didn't have a mind to understand what was happening. So she was just in the background, just making him into this silent killer, so to speak. So in those moments with Gina, it was first him being that silent killer, but then it turned into the intimacy. But then when life started to rain down on her and he felt like it was his fault, that's when he put up the wall to kind of like draw back because he like, I don't want to suck her in because she gonna get sucked up into this whirlwind and I can't lose her.
Yeah. Well, I think Gina could handle her own because she was a true ride or die. I felt like but and the other thing I liked too about the characters was like sometimes, and even though this wasn't really classified as a romance, but how sometimes when you have couples together, they have conflict, and then you I like you, but now we got this conflict, and now we kind of now we got to backtrack and fix what we broke, in the middle. And I'm making that simplistic. It's not all that is, but with Gina, like, and sometimes like, how I always think when I'm reading like a romance book, like, or a book about a couple, when they do have the conflict, there's one person that just doesn't speak their mind. There's no communication in there. But I love how Gina, like toward the end, when he thought he knew he had to apologize, and he was prepared to do that. But I think he felt like it was going to be easier. She was going to like open up. And then when he got ready to just dip, she was like, oh, so this. And I loved her standing up for herself. Like, yes. Dude, like, listen, you messed up. You messed up. But I understood him, but still he messed up. It was that non-communication that happened. Like all of those times buzz, and he sent it the voicemail. You could have told her what you was, doing, and she would have been super okay with that. Right? Because she listen, when she made that phone call, and about, when she made the phone call,
I know.
I was like, okay, now how is this gonna play out? Like, she made an executive decision,
Yeah.
And I think it was because, but rightfully so, because he violated her.
Yes. Yes.
And so I just felt like, dude, you have no idea the capabilities of this woman. Like you selling her short, right?
Yeah. And
But
I
yeah,
had to show her. I had to show her as strong. I have some strong, amazing black women around me. You hear me? And I
right.
had to show her as strong. Like, no, you're not gonna treat me anyway. You're gonna, let me know. You're gonna talk. Like, use your words, sir. Like, you're too old for this. Like, I don't get it. And one thing I can say, with being my wife, she is at this point, for years now, but at this point she tell me like it is. Like, she like, no, you're gonna be this way. So that's it. So I appreciate it. I gotta show my strong black women because I love y'all. I love
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But when I tell you, when she said, stopped him, and when there was another scene too, where he finally did answer the telephone, and talked to her, but he was real,
you.
clipped with
Real
her.
short. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she said, what are you? And then he's like, I'm this big man, like, I'm a man, what? Well, then act like it then, right? You know
She
what I
called them
mean?
on it. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I was Gina. I love Gina, man. I loved her. But I also loved how um I love how a shy, just how you made him when he did finally give in to his vulnerabilities. And he was really a true kind of romantic at heart. But
Yep.
like the at the construction site, you
Ooh.
know, I love those construction site scenes. I even love the last one too.
But it brings it full circle, right? Like,
It did.
I
It
was
did.
like, oh my god, like, yeah,
It
it came together.
did.
My favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes, is the first rooftop scene that you're talking about, and I just love the music that
Yeah.
went with
Hmm.
it, and I love it. I pictured that. I was like, I really want to, like, really just sit on a roof one day and just like,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
it was amazing. So yeah,
But it's gonna mean a little bit something different to you now since you wrote this book.
it is, it
This one
is,
too.
it is.
This is where it started and this is where it ended, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
the rooftop scenes were some of my favorite ones. But then I love how he just I love them together. These characters were very very lovable. And I loved Mona and Mega. I loved him. I loved all the characters. Now the Peeler, I can't like Peeler. You talk about somebody, you had some nutty people in here too. You had some people who
yeah. Oh
were
my god.
truly unhinged, and she was one of them, though. But I
Yeah,
got it. I understood,
yeah. We need that
right?
movie. We need that movie
This
because I'm
could be a
telling you, I pictured
Netflix,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I picture that junk. So I'm excited. Like, they have brought me so much joy to,
Yeah.
right after, like, hearing people how it just touched them and how emotional it was and how you gravitated to it, and what people brought away from it. So I'm real thankful. Damaged by Necessity, I knew when I finished it that it was gonna do something. I knew it. I
Yeah.
felt it in my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. You did the dang thing on this one too. I mean, you did it on the Back Down Memory Lane too, but this one here just had a lot of stuff going on. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like it had something that gets you glued to the book. Like
Right.
you from beginning to end, you're trying to figure out all the pieces to the puzzle. So guys, if you want to see what we're talking about, this is Damaged by Necessity. The book is up on the screen there by Lamartz Brown. You can get it wherever books are sold. Um, Now, do you have are you selling them on your website as well? Do you have a website?
Yes. So all paperback copies. So I want to tell the readers this. Amazon is doing us really bad. authors, indie authors. So what authors are doing is we are getting our books from Amazon, but we're putting it on our website because it gives us kind of like the full profit, and Amazon not taking all of our profit. So on my website, all paperback copies, you get from me, because it is going to be in a crazy amount on Amazon, but that's to draw you to my site, to get the paperback copy. So it is lifelyricsentertainment.com is where you get all paperback copies, and that's lifelyricsentertainment.com. I have books up there. I have a blog up there too that I'm dropping some gems and a couple of things. So yeah, definitely check me out.
I'm putting it in there. So it's www.lifelyricsentertainment.com, all one word. So I'm putting it in the chat. If I make a mistake, please go back and correct me there. I think I got it in there. So guys, I'm putting the link in there. So just grab that, get your copies. Can you do, are you able to sell digital copies? Like, do you use anything like BookFunnel or anything like that? Because for me, I like to be hands-free.
Oh yeah. So it is, the ebook is on Amazon, so you can get the the Kindle book on Amazon. And it is on I want to say
Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited. Okay. It's definitely on Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, you can still purchase the ebook. Absolutely.
Okay. And Lachey says, well, she wants her book signed. Well, you could get your book signed.
Oh yeah,
but for other readers.
But
for other readers who might not be able to get to you, if they buy it off the website, when you send it to them, will it be a signed copy of it? The book?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And it's going to come with some goodies too. So. Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes. They have to get mine as well. Although I have no other walls to put any books on, so I'm very scarcely buying anything. Oh my gosh, I almost need a whole new house just to put my books in because it's really bad.
Mine is, stacking up too, so I understand.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So, okay. So, we are at our time, probably over our time now, but I am so very appreciative of you coming on, talking to me. I have enjoyed the book. I've enjoyed the conversation. I can't see what you do wait to see what you do next. And just tell us where we can find you, other than like your website. We know that, but what other social media platforms you're on?
Absolutely. So on Facebook, it is Lamartz Brown. On Instagram, Threads, TikTok, it's Lamartz.Brown. So you just put my name up. I'll come up. I do have a new release coming out next month, May 29th. It is going to be revealed on May 1st. I'm having a cover reveal. Me and you'll talk about it midnight because you got the exclusive. But yes, I'm excited about it. It is my first erotic novella. So I'm stepping into the erotic space. But let me tell you, it is more than just sex. But
I was about to say,
yes, I don't like, you can have it's a storyline with it. Let me see.
Okay. All right. You good. You good.
I promise
you
that. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited. And that is a website and event exclusive. So that is not going to be on book or Kindle or anything until 2027. So yes, I'm excited about it.
All right. So the call to action would be to, if at all possible, go to the website to purchase the book. And you will get a signed copy if you purchase it off the website. Take a look at the website and see what else in there. It also has where you're going next, where you're going to be at next. So so check him out on that. Guys, again, make sure you are following me on, let's say just YouTube. I'm also on all the social media platforms at Midnight Ace Book Bar. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can see the next interview that we have. And guys, this has been great. Thank you for hanging out with us. We thank you to you, Lamartz, and blessings to all you're doing. Congratulations on your new blessing in your household. Tell your wife we are thinking about her, and hoorah for sharing you with us. We love her. And keep doing what you're doing. So guys, have a great night. We're going to say bye-bye for now, but make sure you are kind to yourself and to others. And we'll see you next time. All right. Stay right there.